The world has lived under the shadow of nuclear war for over 70 years. It's a heavy truth, one we try to ignore. But the danger is real. These weapons are not just tools of destruction. They are a threat to the very existence of humanity. Understanding how we secure them is not a niche concern for scientists and generals. It's a matter of life and death for every single person on this planet. The destructive power of a nuclear weapon is unlike anything else. One bomb can level a city. It can kill millions in a flash. The fallout can poison the land and water for generations. We saw the horrors firsthand in Hiroshima and Nagasaki. We cannot allow ourselves to become numb to that reality. Keeping these weapons secure is a massive undertaking. It requires global cooperation. It demands constant vigilance. There is no room for error. The stakes are simply too high. This isn't about politics. It's about survival. It's about protecting our children and their children. It's about ensuring that the human race has a future. The world has come perilously close to nuclear war, not just once but multiple times. We have stared into the abyss. Each time we've been lucky to step back. These close calls should serve as stark warnings. They remind us how fragile the peace is. One of the most well-known incidents is the Cuban Missile Crisis of 1962. The Soviet Union placed nuclear missiles in Cuba, just 90 miles off the coast of Florida. The US responded with a naval blockade. The world held its breath. For 13 days, we teetered on the brink of nuclear war. Finally, diplomacy prevailed. Both sides backed down. But the Cuban Missile Crisis wasn't an isolated event. There have been numerous other close calls. False alarms, miscommunications, and near misses have plagued the nuclear age. These incidents underscore the ever-present danger. History has taught us a valuable lesson. We cannot rely on luck alone. We need strong safeguards. We need clear communication between nuclear powers. We need to work tirelessly to prevent these weapons from falling into the wrong hands. The threat of nuclear war led to international efforts to control these weapons. The Treaty on the Non-Proliferation of Nuclear Weapons, or NPT, is the cornerstone of these efforts. It was signed in 1968 and has been signed by almost every country in the world. The NPT aims to prevent the spread of nuclear weapons. It promotes nuclear disarmament and supports peaceful nuclear energy. The NPT has made a difference, but challenges remain. Some countries have not signed the treaty, and others are suspected of violating it. International cooperation is essential to addressing the nuclear threat. Nuclear weapons are not static threats. They are often transported, sometimes over long distances. This movement presents unique security challenges. The risks are significant. Any lapse in security during transportation could have catastrophic consequences. Nuclear weapons are transported by land, sea, and air. Each method has its own set of risks and security protocols. Road transport is vulnerable to ambushes and accidents. Rail transport faces similar risks, though it is generally more secure than road transport. Air transport is considered the fastest and most secure method, but it is also the most expensive and complex. Security measures during transport are incredibly stringent. Specially trained military units typically handle the task. The convoys are heavily armed and equipped with sophisticated communication and tracking systems. Routes are carefully planned and often kept secret. The public is often unaware of these transports. This secrecy is intentional. It helps to minimize risks and prevent potential sabotage. However, it also raises concerns about transparency and accountability. Section 5. Fort Knox on steroids. Securing the arsenals of Armageddon. The most critical aspect of nuclear security is the protection of storage facilities. These facilities house some of the most dangerous weapons ever created. Their security must be impenetrable. Nuclear weapons are typically stored in underground silos or vaults. These structures are designed to withstand attacks. They are heavily fortified with reinforced concrete and steel doors. Access is strictly controlled with multiple layers of security. Surveillance is another crucial element. Cameras, motion sensors, and other technologies monitor these facilities around the clock. Armed guards patrol the perimeters and respond to any potential threats. Personnel security is equally important. Those who work at these facilities undergo rigorous background checks and psychological evaluations. They receive specialized training to handle these weapons and respond to emergencies. The goal is to create a system with multiple redundancies. If one layer of security fails, others are in place to prevent a breach. The consequences of failure are simply too great to allow for any margin of error. Section 6. Beyond locked doors and guarded silos. The human factor in nuclear security. While technology plays a vital role in nuclear security, the human element is often the weakest link. No matter how sophisticated the technology, it is still vulnerable to human error, negligence, or malice. Insider threats are a major concern. Individuals with access to nuclear weapons or information about them could potentially exploit their position. This could include disgruntled employees, ideologically motivated individuals, or those susceptible to bribery or coercion. Preventing insider threats requires a multifaceted approach. Thorough background checks and psychological screenings are essential. Regular security training and awareness programs are also crucial. Creating a culture of security where employees feel comfortable reporting suspicious activity is paramount. Human error is another significant risk factor. Miscommunications, misunderstandings, or simple mistakes can have disastrous consequences when dealing with nuclear weapons. Fatigue, stress, and complacency can all contribute to errors in judgment. Addressing these challenges requires a focus on training, clear communication protocols, and measures to mitigate human error. This includes designing systems that are resistant to mistakes and implementing checks and balances at every level. Section 7. The price of failure. The stakes of a nuclear security breach. The consequences of a nuclear security breach are almost too horrific to contemplate. A single nuclear explosion can kill hundreds of thousands instantly. The radioactive fallout would poison the air, water, and soil. Long-term health effects, including cancer and birth defects, would be felt for decades. Beyond the human cost, a nuclear incident would have profound global consequences. Section 8. Whistleblowers and watchdogs, holding nuclear powers accountable. Ensuring nuclear security is not just the responsibility of governments and military officials. Civil society, the media, and whistleblowers all play a crucial role in holding those in power accountable. Whistleblowers, often at great personal risk, have exposed safety lapses, security breaches, and other concerns within nuclear weapons programs. Their courageous actions have shone a light on critical vulnerabilities and prompted investigations and reforms. Independent watchdog organizations also play a vital role. They conduct research, monitor government activities, and advocate for greater transparency and accountability in the nuclear weapons complex. They provide valuable oversight and help to ensure that governments are fulfilling their obligations. The media plays a crucial role in informing the public about nuclear security issues. Investigative journalism can expose wrongdoing, raise awareness, and keep the pressure on governments to prioritize security. A free press and a vibrant civil society are essential for holding those in power accountable. They provide a check on government power and ensure that nuclear weapons programs are subject to public scrutiny. Section 9. The New Arms Race, Emerging Technologies and the Future of Nuclear Security. The nuclear landscape is constantly evolving. New technologies present both opportunities and challenges for nuclear security. Cyber attacks on nuclear facilities could have devastating consequences. Hackers could disable safety systems or launch attacks. AI is another game changer, enhancing security but raising concerns. Hypersonic missiles challenge missile defense systems. The international community must adapt to these emerging threats. Section 10. No room for error. The constant need for vigilance. Nuclear security is not a one-time fix. It requires constant vigilance and a commitment to continuous improvement. The threats are constantly evolving, and we must remain one step ahead. Complacency is the enemy of security. We cannot afford to become complacent, even for a moment. The stakes are too high. We must always be on guard against potential threats, both internal and external. Regular security assessments are crucial for identifying vulnerabilities and implementing necessary improvements. These assessments should be conducted by independent experts who can provide an objective evaluation of security protocols. Training is another essential element of a robust security program. Personnel at all levels must receive regular training on the latest threats, security protocols, and emergency procedures. This training should be realistic and challenging, ensuring that personnel are prepared for any eventuality. Maintaining strong nuclear security requires sustained funding and political will. Governments must prioritize this issue and allocate the necessary resources to ensure the safety and security of these weapons. Section 11. A Safer World, Brick by Brick, Our Collective Responsibility in the Nuclear Age. Preventing nuclear catastrophe rests on all of us. It's not just the responsibility of governments or scientists. Every citizen has a role in building a safer world. Demand transparency and accountability from our leaders. Elect leaders committed to reducing nuclear arsenals. Educate ourselves about nuclear dangers. Engage in dialogue and promote understanding. Support organizations working to reduce nuclear risks. The threat of nuclear war hangs over humanity, but it is not insurmountable. Together we can create a future free from nuclear fear.